Hi there, Leon Ross here. In today's video, I'd like to showcase one of my new favorite libraries by ADO, the Christopher Young Orchestral Touch Library. This is one of two libraries as a part of their Soul series collection for Chris Young. In particular, this one focuses on aleatoric orchestral effects. The material used throughout these libraries are a collection of sounds from over 35 years of Chris's work. A little bit more about Christopher Young if you don't know. So he's worked on well above 120 plus projects, and to us he's known as the Don of horror film scoring. Notably, some of my favorites of Chris Young's movies are The Grudge, Spider-Man 3, Sinister, Hellraiser, and recently Pet Sematary. I've noticed in his scores he likes to take organic sounds and twist our expectations. It throws us into the unknown. The way he works with strings, choirs, or smaller ensemble instruments, he always finds a unique way to reinvent and dramatize sound.
The doors open wide for absolutely, it's, what I'm saying? Yeah. Conceptually, it's an infinite world of sounds that you're stepping into.
So here's a little piece I wrote quickly using this library. Enjoy. One of the greatest uses I found when composing with this library was to provide valuable subtext in places where score required minimalism. Often in horror films, during an idle, tense moment, we don't hear score. Instead, we hear almost like room tone sounds that are mixed with sound design. Some of these sounds are so subtle that they aren't even identifiable. You have to really closely listen to notice that something's different. It's a way of amplifying the tension without ramping up to triple F with a big orchestra. Maybe you've noticed in some of the classic horror films where you can feel that the air thickens and it gives you that increasing sense of impending doom. So these are some great techniques in subtly driving the audience off that edge, So in terms of patches, we have 6 different archetypes here. We have 3 shorts and 2 effects. Each one has a different variation of color, movement, and density. So here's a little example of these patches. Some of these like clusters and textures and red herrings and stuff like that, just on its own without the other stuff that I had in this library. In the front browser page, you also have options to mangle the sound. ADO has included a impulse response using a unique convolution reverb. There's also reverse techniques here, some granular time stretch functions. And then this last feature, which is really cool, it's called the chaos button. And it's so much fun. Basically, it randomizes all your parameters, and it will give you a unique result each time that you use it. The main 4 parameters here are attack, decay, speed, and offset. Attack is basically how much fade in is applied to the sample. Decay is how long after you've first hit your note will the sample actually finish. Speed is the percentage BPM the sample plays back at, and offset changes your sample start point. So here on the second page, it's called IR, which is impulse response. And I believe this is a showcase of how long until the impulse response reverb takes to fade in. You can increase the intensity by using the dynamic parameter here, and control how much delay until the reverb comes in. The third page contains some interesting XY pads that can be mapped to various controls throughout the plugin. For example, you can route this to filters and effects, such as distortion, lo-fi rotator, delay, all that sort of stuff. Basically, this page allows for extra hands-on playability, making it more of an inspiring tool that you can have fun with. So next on the modulation page, we have 3 windows. We have the noise control, and this is sort of almost like an A-B mix sort of thing. So clean is the original signal. So if I play a sound, you can see that's the original signal, and then noise is actually a interesting, weirdly degraded signal. Potentially through some like RX plugins or noise reduction stuff, it's very, very interesting for sound design. Then gate is pretty self-explanatory. You just add an intensity to it, and it's triggering at like your 32nd note. You can change that here. So, right. Now, Tone Machine is a very interesting tool. It basically feeds your sample through a flanger or a saw wave with a unique formant control. It's very useful for heavily modifying these samples. You can see that the formant control is adding more high end and just making it a lot more intense. And the final page is the mixer. And as I said before, we have 7 microphones. We have Decca, wide, and 5 different mics for your spots for each instrument. This really allows you to create custom mixes, and you can pan things in certain areas to have different stereo positions, or you can even send these out to custom outputs in your DAW, so you can have separate external VST processing on each of them. So the interface that ADO has designed allows us composers to really have the world at our fingertips. We can be as big picture as we like, or as intricate with micro details. This library is a must-have for anyone wanting to write horror scores. There aren't many horror contact instruments on the market at the moment, so to me, these are quite special. I've been a huge fan of Chris Young and ADO, so thank you so much, ADO, for allowing me to review your product. If you have any requests on libraries you'd like me to review next, please leave it in the comments. I like to stream weekly on Twitch at twitch.tv/LeonRossMusic, where I like to play with new libraries, answer questions, and write music. So have a great day, everyone, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.